Welcome to the Foundry by Forge College. I am so incredibly excited to kick off this explainer with you today. We're diving into the very first module of our new course, Compressed NFTs and Advanced Digital Assets on Solana, which fits right into our broader track on the Solana ecosystem, covering DeFi, oracles, and applied protocols. Now, if you recall from our last capstone build, we got our hands dirty with Solana Pay. We set up a USDC merchant flow, played around with RWA tokens, and you probably felt the very real constraints of account storage and rent. Well, today, we're taking those exact lessons and solving literally the biggest headache in Web3 engineering, scaling that storage. We're talking about the fundamentals of state compression on Solana. So here is our roadmap for today. First up, the cost of scaling. Second, the warehouse mental model. Third, mechanics of state compression. Fourth, engineering trade-offs. Fifth, a real-world scenario of 1,000 NFTs. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with our conclusion. Okay, I want to start with a serious question for you. How on earth do you store 1 million NFTs on-chain without going completely broke? I mean, think about it. Naive on-chain storage is basically digital real estate. Storing a massive collection, item by item, is literally like deciding to pay downtown Manhattan rent prices just to store 1 million individual sticky notes. It's financially devastating, absolutely unsustainable. But to fix a problem, we first have to respect it. Let's look at exactly why this scaling bottleneck happens on the network. Section 1, the cost of scaling. As you learned during our capstone build, Solana charges actual resource costs, or rent, for per-account storage. Every single byte you take up on the ledger requires Sol to be locked up just so your account stays rent-exempt. Now, when you're building a small app, this is totally negligible. But the second you scale to thousands or millions of items, like, say, a massive gaming ecosystem dropping loot boxes or a global ticketing system, that rent becomes astronomical. The old approach of storing full object states on individual program accounts, it completely breaks down. We desperately need a new approach, one that steps away from the code for a second and uses a physical analogy to make things crystal clear. Section 2, the warehouse mental model. Imagine a giant warehouse storing thousands of physical items. The old, expensive way to manage this is the central ledger approach. You label every single shelf, and you write a massive, heavy, detailed inventory record in a giant ledger sitting in the main office. That's your naive on-chain storage. But what if instead we just used receipts? You keep small paper receipts in a cheap filing cabinet out back, and every day you just print one single summary sheet and tape it to the office wall. Anyone can check their receipt against that daily summary sheet on the wall to mathematically prove their item is in the warehouse. So the crucial point here is that this exact concept is what we call state compression. By definition, state compression on Solana means storing a tiny, highly verifiable summary on-chain while keeping the heavy, bulky data completely off-chain. The summary sheet goes on the wall, that's the blockchain, and the bulky physical items just stay out of the way in cheaper storage. Notice how beautifully this warehouse analogy actually maps to real Solana architecture. That little receipt you hold, that is a Merkle leaf, a tiny hash representing your specific data. The summary sheet taped to the office wall, that's your Merkle root, the master hash anchored on chain. And that filing cabinet in the back room holding all the bulky stuff, that is your off-chain archive, like Arweave or IPFS, hosting the actual image files and extended metadata. All right, we have the analogy down, so it's time to pop the hood and move from physical warehouses to the actual cryptographic engines. Section 3, mechanics of state compression. There are 4 fundamental components here. First, the Merkle root, which is your on-chain anchor. It takes up barely any space but secures everything. Second is the compact leaf, which summarizes the identity and points to the metadata. Third, you absolutely need a verification program on Solana. Think of this as a smart contract that basically acts as the bouncer, enforcing the logic and checking proofs. And fourth, the archival storage, keeping those bulky payloads completely off the expensive blockchain real estate. During verification, the magic happens in 4 trustless steps. When you want to prove you own an asset, you don't download the asset from the chain. Step 1, you present your leaf and a cryptographic proof to the program. Step 2, the Solana program instantly recomputes the math up the tree. Step 3, it compares that result to the anchored Merkle root. If it matches, step 4, the program executes the state change. What is so powerful here is that the trust boundary has fundamentally shifted. We go from relying on heavy, expensive storage to relying on simple, deterministic math. Anyone can check the proofs trustlessly. But, as any good engineer knows, there are no perfect solutions. Every architecture has its price.
Section 4. Trade-offs. Cost versus latency.
Comparing the two architectures directly. With full state, you have a massive storage footprint and high rent costs, but your access latency is incredibly fast because everything is right there on the chain. With compressed state, your storage footprint shrinks to a single anchored route, dropping your rent costs to almost zero. But the trade-off? Latency is slower because you actually have to fetch data off-chain to assemble the proofs. You are trading expensive storage rent for slightly higher operational complexity and off-chain fetching.
And this introduces some real-world friction. Your indexers absolutely must stay synchronized. If an indexer falls behind, the whole system feels sluggish. Marketplaces have to do the heavy lifting of assembling these proofs before rendering them. In the more advanced learning programs we run over at Forge College, we always emphasize this golden rule. Compression is best for read-heavy, write-infrequent data. If you need frequent, atomic, on-chain updates for every single item every single second, compression might actually become a headache. Let's ground all this theory with a concrete example. Let's walk through the chronological life cycle of an artist launching a massive collection.
Section 5. Real World. Launching 1,000 NFTs. Phase 1 is minting and anchoring. Instead of creating 1,000 separate, incredibly expensive accounts on Solana, the project builds the Merkle tree entirely off-chain. They compute the single master hash, the root, for the whole batch. Then they publish just that one tiny, cheap root onto Solana. Boom, 1,000 NFTs minted, and you barely paid a fraction of a cent in rent. The chain can mathematically attest the collection exists, while the heavy image files are tucked away safely in the archive. Now, Phase 2. Ownership verification. A user connects to a marketplace and wants to view their NFT. The marketplace fetches the metadata and the specific leaf off-chain. It grabs the Merkle proof. Then, it runs the math locally or asks the chain to verify it against the anchored root. Because this proof is logarithmically small, it's lightning fast. The marketplace can confidently display the artwork with a verified badge without ever having to pull the JPEG directly from the blockchain itself. Finally, Phase 3, transferring. Let's say you sell that NFT. How does the network know? Well, an off-chain coordinator prepares an updated leaf showing you as the new owner. It recomputes the brand new Merkle root for the whole tree and then publishes that new root on-chain. Notice how the chain never stores the giant token blob? It merely records that the master anchor changed from value A to value B and enforces the signature rules. It's wildly efficient. Phew, we've covered a tremendous amount of ground today, moving from high-level warehouse analogies all the way down to the cryptographic life cycles of digital assets. Section 6. Conclusion and next steps. If you remember nothing else from this explainer, please take away these 3 core principles of state compression. 1. Store only the absolute minimum material on-chain required to verify claims and resolve disputes. 2. Your system is literally only as good as your off-chain archives, so reliable indexing is absolutely crucial. And 3. Always evaluate your read/write workloads before choosing this architecture. Compression is an absolute superpower, but only when applied to the right kind of data. I'll leave you with this provocative question to ponder today. Is your current project's ecosystem truly ready to assemble and verify proofs efficiently? If the answer is yes, you are ready to unlock massive scale. Next time, we're going to pull out the microscope in our follow-up lesson, Anatomy of a Compressed NFT, where we'll look at the exact serialization of these leaves. Until then, make sure to visit forge.college to dive deeper into the subject and explore our other comprehensive Web3 learning tracks. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep building.